Hi, everybody. Aryan Yousefi here. I'm the founder and CEO of Truffle and also a Salesforce CTA. At Truffle, we build AI-native apps on Salesforce using Salesforce Data Cloud and Agentforce. Today, I'm going to talk about a recent data breach that happened in the Salesforce ecosystem. Every company wants AI on their front door, answering questions, qualifying leads, routing to sales. So they install chatbots like Drift. It looks simple, but under the hood, it is built on the weakest possible foundation, an external app holding Salesforce tokens, replicating data on their own stack, and hoping no one steals it. In August, someone actually stole it. Attackers stole these tokens and used them to pull Salesforce data at scale. Account data, contact data, opportunity data, cases, user data. Even credentials like AWS keys and Snowflake tokens inside these records were stolen. This wasn't a Salesforce failure. It was a failure of the connected app model itself. Many customers connected many platforms over the past 10, 15 years or so, and without any rigor, without any control, and without any governance. And all these applications, most of them have excessive privileges that if the token is exposed, potentially the bad actor can pull any data that user have access to. So let's take a look what really happened in the Drift case. So this shows the sequence diagram of security breach. Attacker UNC63995, which is a well-resourced threat actor identified by Google, got a hold of Salesforce and Gmail's tokens from Drift platform. So they hacked into Drift platform, and then they could get a hold of these tokens, and they used these stolen tokens to connect to Salesforce, Gmail, AWS, and Snowflake of these impacted customers. We have heard that more than 700 Salesforce orgs have been impacted. They also tried to cover their tracks by deleting all these query jobs that they ran behind the scenes so no one notices. The question now is, if Drift was vulnerable, what about other tools? There are tools like Forethought, FinAI, Ada, Glean, and so many other tools that use connected app technology, and all of them store tokens in their database. Also, they replicate their Salesforce data or many other platforms that you connect to on their platforms without any unified audit capability. So the real question isn't, did Drift fail? The real question is whether you want to keep running your customer data through parallel systems that make you blind. Because if this happened once, it will happen again. Maybe not the Drift, maybe the next vendor you trusted. So now there's a different path. You can run the agent where the data and security already lives, which is inside Salesforce, with no external tokens and no copying data, and then every action being governed by profiles and permissions, and every interaction is logged in event monitoring, visible to your own security. This way, you can centralize your governance and actually control where your data moves and where your data leaves the boundary, and have a better view of what's going on in your agentic workflows. Here's a demo of a Drift replacement and how it looks like an Agentforce. All right, so let's take a look at how Agentforce works in action and how we can replace Drift. So this is our Truffle website. As you can see, we have a chat bubble here on the homepage that is Agentforce technology behind the scene. The first scenario that I want to show you is a known contact that we know the email address, which is Mr. Bradley Harmon from Harmon Accounts, is reaching out to us. And first, as an anonymous web visitor, he's going to ask, does Truffle support Agentforce implementation? And what's happening behind the scene is that we're using Salesforce Data Cloud web crawler to crawl our website and being able to provide answers to the questions that the customer may have about us. Second question is, does Truffle support Service Cloud Voice? And then as you can see, it's going to pull that data and then provide a response. And then in this case, I'm going to go to pricing. And what's happening is the pricing is a trigger word for us to know that we're going to transfer to an agent. And then as I said, the first use case is about Bradley himself. So in this case, Agentforce is getting this email address and then trying to match it with a known contact. And then if he finds a match, it will route the chat to a human agent that is marked as BDR for this specific contact in Salesforce. So I can schedule an appointment, a meeting to discuss pricing, or I'm going to talk to a live agent. So what's happening now, we're using Salesforce's omnichannel to connect Bradley to the right rep that have served Bradley before and is marked as a BDR user. So in this case, I am on Bradley's record, so I haven't made myself available for chat yet. But as you can see, I am logged in as a BDR user, and then I'm marked as BDR user on the contact record and account record of Harman. And I'm going to open the omnichannel widget, and I'm going to say I'm available for messaging. As you can see, the chat came through. I'm going to accept the chat, and I'm going to land on Bradley's messaging session. And as you can see, all these information about the desktop and the IP and all the URLs is available for me. I can see that the contact details got populated here automatically, and I can start chatting with the customer. So I'm going to minimize this Omni, and I'm going to say, hi, how can I help you? And then if I go back to the chat, you can have a chat back and forth with this customer. So as you can imagine, you can use a lot of native capabilities of Salesforce, do a lot of routing so you know your customers based on the email address or the domain they come from, and it can route it to a specific agents based on availabilities, based on activities they have, and then one agent can chat with multiple customers. Also, you can have a digital labor in front of your website to answer all those initial questions to the customer, and also route to a human agent and a schedule appointment with them. Now let's talk about the second use case. The second use case is a lead, Duncan McIntosh. That is a known lead for us. We have his email address. If I go to Salesforce, I can see that I am logged in as an SDR user, and I'm marked as the owner of this specific lead as an SDR owner. And you can see, as you can see, the email address is here, bmcintosh@example.com. Then as an anonymous web visitor, I'm going to go ahead and then type pricing. So I'm Duncan. I landed on Truffle website, and I'm asking directly for pricing, which triggers the routing to a specific agent that is tagged as SDR agent for me. So it's asking for the email address. So I'm going to type this email address. I'm going to talk live with an agent. And in this now, the chat is routed to SDR agent. So I'm logged in with my BDR agent same time, but as you can see, the BDR agent didn't receive that chat. And that's on purpose, because the routing is considering that if this lead specifically has been marked with that SDR user itself. So I can see the association of the lead to this messaging session. I'm going to minimize this, and I can chat back and forth with the customer. Hi, how are you, Duncan? So I can have the chat back and forth and send customers any data, share information, schedule an appointment, and anything that I need to do to serve this customer. Here was the walkthrough of the second use case that you saw how a known lead can be routed based on the email address to a known SDR. So this way, we don't have to round robin between your agents. If the agent is available for chat and is available at that time, the chat will be routed to that SDR user. All right, now the third scenario I want to show is that a user who we don't have their email address, they're neither lead or contact, we don't have any data point about them in our Salesforce instance. I'm going to trigger, again, transfer to an agent by typing pricing. Again, this is our keyword. We can design it however you like. And in this case, test@test.com. So there is no record with this email address in our Salesforce instance now. And I'm going to ask for talk live agent. And I have a fallback queue. I'm going to accept that. And at that point, you see that all the information about the customer is populated. You can have your account-based marketing. You can connect it to demand base. With Agentforce, you can perform any call out to any system at any point in time. So potentially you can grab a lot of information from the customer. You can do your ABM and personalization and whatnot. And in this case, I can also transfer the conversation to somebody. I can start a conference and bring other agents. So I can select an agent and I can see who is online. And let's say if I log in with my SDR agent, messaging available, if I go back to support, and then to select that agent, I can bring SDR agent and do a conference chat. And in this case, SDR agent is receiving a pop notification. I'm going to accept it. And then as you can see, Truffle AI and SDR user, both of them are joining. So if I select hi, both my support agent and my end customers can have a group conversation. So they can also send quick text like this, researching issue, and then send it to the customer. We can attach files. We can raise a flag for management to view that. We can send emojis. We can send anything to that customer himself. We showed 3 different scenarios. The first scenario was the BDR user. That means the account is tagged with a BDR agent. The second scenario was an SDR, which is a lead that has been served by an SDR. So you want to send these routings to the people who have worked with a specific prospect. And then the third use case was a fallback option, that neither of these scenarios are true, and you want to route it to a specific queue based on their capacity. I showed you the conference chat. I showed you the quick text, transferring to a specific agent, raising a flag, and also attaching files. We also discussed the account-based marketing, which is critical for many companies. You can integrate with Clearbit, Demandbase, or any platform, similar to how Drift integrates with those. And potentially we can replace Drift in about 6 to 8 weeks for any customer. The reason to move now is simple. Your data already lives in Salesforce. That's where your governance, your permissions, and your audit trail live. Every day you leave it spread across connected apps, you increase the surface for attacks and lose visibility into what's happening. And the urgency is real. Drift was not the first, and these breaches don't slow down. They compound. The longer you wait, the more exposed your environments become. What we do at Truffle is help customers mitigate security risks. And we have been helping clients move off of Drift and stand up Agentforce. We build your pipeline and scheduling agents natively inside Salesforce so you don't compound the risk. And that's the path forward. Consolidate, secure, and run AI where data lives.